Hi everyone, my name is Sedat. I would like to welcome you to our webinar. Today I will introduce CashWorks, a product developed by SYSTRONICS. It is a cash management with integrated post-dated check functionality. It allows you to track the different statuses of checks, such as returned, deposited, bounced. For each CashWorks transactions, you can attach a document which is applicable to that transaction. You can enter miscellaneous charges directly to these transactions. For example, bank charges you can enter directly in the receipt and payment transactions. It has a very useful cash flow report, allowing to print bank balances. You can print the balance for one or list of banks in one go. It has a list of analytical reports, and these reports have an option to include post-dated check information in them. What are the transactions available in CashWorks? These are customer receipts, customer payments, vendor payments, CVGL entries, and bank transfers. Now let me open Sage 300 and show the CashWorks functionality. For example, let us make one customer receipt transaction. To do that, I will open the receipt batch list and make a new one. In a header level, you have a date, bank, and currency default information, which will be populated to each entry in the same batch. You can put any other information there, or you can leave it as it is. But in any entry, you can change this information. As you can see, the first difference compared with AR receipt entry screen is that here we have two dates. In addition to the transaction date, we have a check date, additional date, which is needed for defining post-dated checks. If the receipt is usual one, then both dates are the same, and it will be considered as current dated. So to start making transaction, you need to specify the type as you are doing in AR module, selecting the customer. Selecting the payment type, as we can do in AR receipt again. On the second tab, we have this bank currency rate information, which can be changed if required. And the next allocation tab, from where you have to allocate the amount. Before doing that, on the first tab, I will enter the receipt amount and allocate it to an invoice. In this particular case, it is a job-related invoice. However, it doesn't matter. Next. On the next tab, you can enter the charges if required. Please note that these charges can be done by having taxes if needed. Otherwise, if there is no tax information required, you can leave that tax information blank. You just need to enter the GL account of the tax where it should go. I will put some dummy account and the charge amount. Let's imagine that it is at 10. And the charge currency. It can be, again, the same as the receipt currency, or it can be different. So let's say that here we have a US dollar currency and the charge also in US dollar. We have an attachment tab where we can attach a document which is applicable to that particular receipt. It can be an invoice, hard-coded file, or something else. And this attached file will be kept in the CashWorks tables together with the other information available in Search 300. So later on, you can open it from here. You can save it in any folder if you want to from the transaction itself. Or you can even print it in a customized report if you want to. This option is also possible to print the attached file if it is a such type format of file which can be shown. So this much. So and the total amount will be shown here, which will be included also charges. The amount is in three currency: in bank, receipt, and customer currency. So when I save it, I will want to show you once more that there is one more difference compared with the AR receipt screen. This is the status of the entity transaction itself. In addition to the bank, but in addition to the batch status which is open, we have also the entity status. Each entity status has its own list of values, and from the beginning it is open. Now, when I post the receipt, since it has a current dated check, it will go directly to accounts receivable module. And the status of the batch will become posted, while the status of the entity will be realized. Realized means that it is going out, it went out from the CashWorks to submodules. So our next step to proceed is, if it is not setting up so that it will be posted automatically in AR, so in that case, you need to go to AR module, find the CV generated batch, and post from AR as well. And now only it will reach to GL. However, since we entered the additional cost, then this cost will go to common services, bank services, and from there to GL directly. So you should have this transaction reaching to GL from bank services. So this is the one. It generated from bank. This is the additional cost amount, and this is my transaction amount. the amounts are shown in the functional currency. This is the whole cycle of one transaction. Now let me show how to make a post-dated check. To do a post-dated check, again I will make another customer receipt. And now I will not leave the check date as it is, but I will change it, for example, from January 1 to February 1. Now the system will consider it as post-dated check. And please note that it is required that the payment code should have a payment type as check. Otherwise, if it is not check, it will not be considered as PDC. Let's make a prepayment for applied cash, for example, for $50. Save and post. Now, if I open the transaction after posting, I will see that the status of my entity is posted, not realized. It means that it will not reach. It remains in the CashWorks. It is not reached to AR module. When the times come, let's say that it is February 1. Now I need to realize my check, which means to update account receivable module. In that case, what shall I do? For that purpose, CashWorks has a unique screen named as Management Console. I will open it. Select the customer receipt transaction, click the Go button, and from the grid, the last transaction is mine, with amount $50, and its status is posted. Here, the status, it is posted. To realize it, I will go to New Status column, change it none to realized, and click Process button. Only after that, the AR will be updated. The transaction will go to AR module. In addition to this customer receipt, as I told you already, we have a customer payment, we have vendor payments, and we have a 3GL entity transactions, which are direct bank transactions and generated entities will go directly to GL module, General Ledger module. It will not go to AR or AP. And also we have a bank transfer. Here in CashWorks, we have a bank services. And from here, we will make a bank transfer if we want to transfer amount from one bank to another one. And also, here in bank services, we have CashWorks keeps the bank balances. It's here. And by opening the bank balances screen, you can see the balances of each bank in two possible currencies, in functional currency or in statement currency. If you need to make a reconciliation, also reconciliation should be done from CashWorks itself. The reconciliation screen is easier to use, and we can do it in Sage 300 bank services. For example, in our case, we posted transaction for the CCB bank. I will select the bank. I will select the statement date, reconciliation date, select the transaction, click Go button to go to the reconciliation tab. Let me maximize it. And from the list, you will reconcile transaction by just double-clicking on each transaction. And in order to post the reconciliation, your statement balance should be equal to the reconciled balance, which means that you should not have a variance in order to be able to post the reconciliation. In CashWorks, you can have deposits, and the status of the receipts can be a deposit, and if you have a deposit, then each deposit can contain many different entries. And to reconcile them, you can go to the details of the deposit by clicking this details button, and to reconcile particular transactions which are belonging to a certain deposit. And then post the reconciliation. Actually, these are the main transactions that you can do from CashWorks. And later on, if needed, you can print analytical reports. The folder of analytical reports contains a big list of reports. The first one is customer statement. Of course, you can print the statement from account receivable model. But the main difference here that you can do it has an option to include unrealized transactions. And when you include them, then these unrealized transactions are also listed in the statement. Unrealized transactions, we are naming post-dated checks. It is another name of the PDC. And this unrealized transaction can be merged or it can be listed in a separate section. I will print the report for one customer having just one PDC. Let me see how it will be shown in the report. Okay. If you print the same report from account receivable, then it will show you the same information that we have. Only the difference is the section of these unrealized transactions. And this amount is making the difference between the error and CashWorks. And the total of the amount that it shows the statement will be different if the customer has PDC checks. Similarly, you can print other analytical reports with the same feature. For example, vendor transactions report or aging report. All of them has that the same feature, allowing to include unrealized transaction. So I will not print them. And I would like to print for you a cash flow report, a very useful report, allowing to show the balance of the bank in any date, in any period that you want to. So, first of all, you need to specify the date range. The date range is required in order to start the report by showing the opening balance. It can be from the beginning of the history or from any date, and up to the date in which you want to see the balance of the bank. whether you want to include unrealized transactions or not, and select the bank itself. It is possible to select many banks. If the statement currency of the banks are different, then you should print in functional currency. Otherwise, if you print a foreign currency bank, it is possible to print in a statement currency as well. So I will print it. What we have on this report, it shows the opening balance. In our particular case, it is 0. The list of incoming and outgoing transactions. So the inflow amounts are shown here, outflow amounts. And at the end of the report, we see the total balance of the bank. Very useful report, which is not available in the standard Sage 400 models.